They come out with so many eyeshadow palettes all the time. I don't know how. Alright, so today we're doing a full face using ColourPop makeup. I don't know how I've never done this. I have a crap ton of ColourPop products. ColourPop for me is kind of crazy because I specifically remember when ColourPop launched, and it was around the time of when I started my YouTube channel, maybe like a little bit after, but it was the first kind of product ever like this. They first came out with the Super Shock Shadows, and they were cheap, and I just like have good memories of ColourPop launching and then starting my channel, OG YouTube, you know. Now they've obviously grown a ton, are doing amazing, and they're in a lot of Ulta stores and stuff, so it's always cool to see like small brands like that succeed in the industry. I've done a couple of these where I do full face with e.l.f. Cosmetics. Let me know if there are any other drugstore brands that you guys would want to see a full face using, like one specific brand. As with most brands, I definitely have some products that I love, and I have some products that I don't love so much from the brand. In today's video, there are definitely some hits and some misses, so if you guys are excited for this video and you enjoy while you're watching, you can give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Alright, so my face is primed. I wanted to add something glowy and just really moisturizing underneath the foundation because I am going in with the ColourPop No Filter, which in the past has looked a little bit too cakey on my skin. Also, we're going to be testing the Pretty Fresh Precision Blending Sponge, which I have not tried. Wow, this is tiny. Okay, I wasn't going to wet it because I usually like dry sponges a little bit better, but this thing is so tiny, so I'm going to go wet this and we'll be right back. I do have a review on this foundation from when it launched, but I think I'm first going to start out with a sponge, or not the sponge, with a brush, and then go in with this sponge just to kind of like smooth it out. So I have the shades Fair 20 and Fair 30 here. I think I'm first going to go in with Fair 30. That might be a little dark. I might have to mix them. Don't remember what shade I am in this one. And I just got that all over the table. So starting out with the shade Fair 30 here. I haven't used this in a really long time, like probably over a year or whenever this launched, when I first reviewed it. Looking at my neck, I think that's a pretty good shade match. It looks like it matches my neck perfectly if it doesn't oxidize. I didn't go back to look at this review or anything, so I don't even know what my first impressions were before. Looks like it's already creasing on this side on my upper lip. I haven't heard people talk about this in a while. Okay, so then to kind of smooth that out, I'm going to go in with the damp sponge here and add a tiny bit more product. Just kind of build it up in certain spots and then also smooth everything over. It's looking like pretty patchy. What the heck? I'm getting like permanent creases on my upper lip. Remembering why I never reached for this foundation. The sponge is super soft. I like how the sponge feels. Like I would use this with another foundation, and I always like sponges that have the flat top here. That's usually what I reach for with my like LA Girl sponge and stuff. Whoa, just punch the mic. I'm not getting very good coverage for building it up, and you can basically see everything coming through. It kind of looks like it's going to be like fuller coverage when you first put it on, and then as it's drying, it's like getting less coverage. And I don't know what is happening with this insane creasing like immediately on my upper lip. So the ColourPop No Filter Concealer looks horrible on my under eyes. It looks like the Kylie concealer, like it just looks super dry and I don't get good coverage. It just does not work with my skin. But I want to try the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer again. I've used this a few times, but I don't feel like I really know what I think of it yet. This is in the shade Fair 05W. So this is one of their newer launches. I reviewed the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. If you want to see that, I'll link in the eye down below. I think I'm going to try the same sponge with this concealer. Feels pretty thick. Haven't used this one in maybe like a month or two. It's an eyelash. Oh yeah, just have an eyelash chilling in there. Okay, I'm going to go in with the sponge. Blend that out. I'm getting pretty light coverage with a sponge, so let me try a brush on this side. Seems to kind of like either disappear or darken because when you first put on, look how much lighter it looks on this side. Definitely getting more coverage with a brush. More coverage, but still looks like a pretty light coverage concealer. It's kind of just like brightening. I'm gonna use this concealer to kind of highlight the rest of my face since that looks pretty light. So I'm gonna just bring that in. Okay, I'm not loving how the base is looking. It's not looking great. So before I powder my under eyes and powder my face, I do have this cream contour product from them. This is from a while ago. It's their ColourPop Sculpting Stix. in the shade Dove. Does this still exist? Hopefully. In case that dries down really quick, I'm just going to blend right away and use this to kind of contour. Oh, I like that tone. It's a pretty cool tone. If you're someone who does like a nose contour, this kind of shape would be nice because you can just draw it on. I don't really nose contour, but I will add some. The line got a little wild. Oh, I like this. Yeah, I like that shade. Really nice natural looking contour. To set my under eyes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder since I don't have any kind of powders from ColourPop. I have tried their pressed powder and I was not a fan at all. It looked like super chalky on my skin. Pretty sure I've mentioned that in like a Raisin Rejects video at some point. Alright, so now let's get the brows on before we do anything else. So this is the ColourPop Brow Gel in Black and Brown. The only reason I don't reach for this is that there's something, I don't know if I have like a defective one, but a lot of times it's so hard to get this cap off. I don't know what it is. So I pre-loosened it for this video. I haven't used a brow pomade product in a while. I usually just reach for like brow pencils now. This pomade is pretty slick, like it hasn't a slip to it. So if you're someone who likes a kind of more stiff formula, you might need to either let this one kind of dry out, or you probably wouldn't be into this as much because it definitely is very pigmented and it just kind of, it glides very easily, but some people like a more stiff pomade. I'm gonna kind of brush it up in the front, or attempt to. I do like that shade. For bronzer, the only one I had is this pressed powder bronzer in the shade Perk Up. And this one, I'm pretty sure looked very, very orange on me, but it was this or nothing. So I'm going to try and use a brush that kind of shears out bronzer. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush. And this one kind of helps if you have one that's a little bit too, you know, orangey or something, because it just shears it out and applies it less intense. Pretty warm. I feel like ColourPop blushes, highlighters, and eyeshadows are really where they excel. Like those are the product categories from ColourPop that I feel like are killer. So one of my favorites is the ColourPop Star Bright. I have a couple different shades of this, but these are so beautiful. I've talked about these before. Look at that friggin' highlight. These are pretty to use on top of liquid foundation, or if you're just, you know, doing like a no makeup kind of day, but you still want to highlight. This is such a beautiful shade. I like that it doesn't have glitter in it and it's just super, super reflective. Just wanted to shout that one out. I also love some of their Super Shock Cheek highlighters. This one's on the Cusp. But let's first go in with blush. So I'm going to use Forget Me Not, which is like this really pretty pinky pearly kind of shade. So it's definitely not like a matte kind of blush. I'm actually going to use a sponge with this. So I'm just going to dip in. Oh, so pretty. I love these kind of like pink tone blushes when they have a glow. And I just love the way their blushes sit on the skin. They look so natural. Just like a pretty flush because of the formula. If you've never tried ColourPop Super Shock formula, it's basically, I would say it's halfway between a cream and a powder. It's not like a total cream blush or highlight, but then when you blend it out, it like turns into a powder. I think we're gonna go in with On the Cusp today. I'm just gonna use my finger. With the highlights, I usually just like using my finger rather than a brush. Oh my god, so pretty. So pretty. Oh my god. I would 1,000,000% pass on that foundation. You know what? While we're here, let's just take the stick too. I'm going to use my finger and just add a touch right on the high point. This one is definitely a little bit more intense. So if you want a little bit more of a, you know, intense highlight, go with this guy. Oh my god. I love their highlights. To prime my eyes, I'm going to use the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the white shade. I do really like this for eye primer. Like I said, not a huge fan of this for actual concealer, but for eye primer, this is really nice. And I think we're gonna go for something like pinky or purpley. I have two eyeshadow palettes from them that I haven't tried yet that I want to try out in this video. So the purple one is Lilac You a Lot. Here it is. Oh, that shade is kind of like speaking to me right now though. And then here's the pink one, which is Strawberry Shake. They come out with so many eyeshadow palettes all the time. I don't know how. This might look nice because it would tie in some of like the orangey peachy tones with what I'm wearing. I think we're gonna go with the pink one. So I'm gonna start off by taking this shade right here. Oh, the satisfaction. And blending that into the crease. It's hard to find good pinks and purples. Next I'm gonna take my Milkshake, blending my Milkshake into crease too, and like the outer third right here, and then a little bit up. Ooh, that shade is pretty. It's like a bright fuchsia. I'm going to go in with Paper Straw, which is a peachy color, and just blend out the fuchsia shade with that a little bit higher. Then I'm going to take Daiquiri, which I think is almost like a red. Ooh. That shade. Holy shitsies. It definitely has some red in it, but it's also still a little bit fuchsia. That is gorgeous. It doesn't look patchy at all, which is really hard to do with red shades. Super pigmented. I love that these don't like lift up as you blend out the edges. They stay pigmented and it stays on there, but you can still blend. Then I'm going to take Whipped, which is a, I don't know what this is, kind of like pink metallic shade. Looks like, maybe kind of more red. Just pressing that on with my finger. Then on a brush, I'm going to take Delish, which is the light pink kind of shimmery shade, which it looks like I've used. I don't remember when I used this palette. And I'm just going to wet that. And then press that on the inner corner, but also kind of bring it up. And blend it into the other pink shade. That one kind of gets more foiled looking and intense the more you pack it on. At first it was looking like pretty just subtle, and now you can get that kind of foiled effect. For the lower lash line, I think I'm going to use some of the peaches, so I'm going to go with this shade right here. I feel like I need definitely some pink down there, so I'm going to take a Sip, which is this super bright, like a neon looking fuchsia. I feel like I need to add some like glow and just major moisture into my skin right now, so I'm just going to take some of my MAC Fix Plus. And then for liner, I'm going to use the ColourPop BFF liquid liner. I do like it, but the only thing is that it has a kind of like stiffer felt tip. So for me, I usually like more of a brush tip. I feel like I get a smoother line. I do like this one. It's very black. It lasts long. Ooh, got some lashes sticking together here. Okay, so I just put on lashes and lower lash mascara. ColourPop does have their own lashes, but I've tried a few pairs and they're so long on my eye shape. Like they literally go like up right here to my brow when I look up. So I just put on these pure ones in the style Jet Setter. ColourPop, if you're watching this, you should definitely come out with some more like shorter styles of lashes. But now we're going to take a Super Shock Shadow. This is in the shade Crimper. And I think I just want to add this a little bit to my inner corner on the bottom. This is a really pretty gold shade. And I'm just going to use like the tip of that same brush I used. This is the Sedona Lace 954. Just to kind of tie in some of the tan gold tones a little bit. So when I was going through my collection of pull products for this video, I found this and I totally forgot about this shade. This is the ColourPop Lippy Sticks. You can't even see it anymore. It's like so rubbed off, in the shade Cookie. And I used to always use this. I don't even know how much is left of this, but this was such a pretty nude shade, so I'm going to keep this out and start using it again. But I have a couple other options here. This is the Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Platform, and then this one's a little bit pinkier, and it's Bianca. Maybe I'll kind of layer these two, so let's first go in with Bianca. They do have the Ultra Satin formula, which I know a lot of people like kind of better than the matte. Why am I trying to use the like hella far away mirror right now? The other day, I filmed the video where I did your most repurchased, and you guys, as soon as I took off my makeup, like literally within an hour or two, I had breakouts and like under the skin bumps all over my skin. So I'm pretty sure it was from the double wear or the primer water. I have like a bump on my lip right there and then all over my skin. So whatever it was definitely caused some kind of like reaction. I'm actually going to go back with the eyeshadow palette, and I think I'm going to take this shade, just add a little bit more pink, Woke, and just press that over top of the liquid lipstick with my finger. This is a good trick if you need to adjust the shade of a liquid lipstick, but you don't want to like reapply one over top. All right, so this is the finished ColourPop look. Like I said, I feel like ColourPop really excels in their eyeshadows, highlighters, and blushes. I definitely don't love how the base looks at all. I think we've established that. I just think this foundation is a major no, and it doesn't look great. This palette is beautiful. If you're really into pink tones, I totally think this is worth it. It's affordable, super pigmented, blends out, but it doesn't blend away, and I'm a fan of this one. I really like how the eyeshadow turned out and just working with all those. I forgot how friggin' dry the Ultra Matte lips are. I haven't used one of these in a while. They're pretty dry, but it was kind of fun just like digging through my makeup and finding stuff that I haven't used in a while. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If there are any ColourPop products that I need in my life and I definitely need to check out, let me know down below. Let me know your like top 3 ColourPop products. I'm curious. But I'll link everything I used on my face today down below, along with the nail polish, sweater. This is on like super sale right now, I'm pretty sure, if they still have it in stock, but it's so soft and comfy and I just want to live in this sweater at all times. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.